Hey guys, just been taking the crew at Active Escapes through multiple different sessions, and look, we're really at a minimum in terms of equipment, and we have so many people, so you have to get creative on how to use your own body weight. And the great thing about understanding different movements and how everything works and how to introduce good intensity with just your own body weight means you can train anywhere at any time. So this is a really good Tabata session where you can implement in the hotel room when you're traveling, you can do it out at a park, or you can even do it in your gym. So with this particular session, it's Tabata. So we're looking at this high intensity and a little bit of rest. So we're looking at 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, and we're going to repeat eight rounds. And that will be one complete cycle. We've got 4 cycles in total. So it's a total of 32 minutes of working and resting. So the way I programmed it for the group of 42 of us is that we had 2 exercises in the cycle. So exercise A would be 20 seconds, then you get to rest for 10 seconds. And then you move on to exercise B, would be 20 seconds on and 10 seconds. And then we move back to exercise A, then exercise B, exercise A, exercise B, so on and so forth. And that way, that gave me an opportunity to work with our clients and I guess guests to make sure that the intensity stays the same. So you can imagine if you only focus on one exercise over the 8 rounds, the intensity would drop off. So if it's all upper body, and then you go for 20 on, 10 off, 20 on, 10 off, 8 rounds, by the time you get to the last three rounds, you're going to be really gassed, and you lose the intensity, and then we lose the necessary stresses we want on the body to get those positive adaptations. So the way I figured it is that exercise A might have been upper body and exercise B could have been lower body, and that way we just keep flushing back and forth, giving that bit of a blood shunt, which has all these physiological benefits from getting your blood from the lower body extremities back up to the top and back and forth. Enough talking, let's get into the 2 first exercises. So what we went through was a sumo scissor squat, and then we progressed onto a gorilla push. So the sumo scissor squat is essentially a shallow lunge. So you start 1, 2 into a sumo squat. Now the reason why it's called a sumo squat, just like how you see sumo wrestlers, how they have their legs wide and going out on an angle. So you want your knee tracking with your toe. You can't have your feet straight and try to push your knees out. The way it's going to be designed for your body and to work with your hips is to go out wide, go into the squat. And you're only going to get so deep because there's tightness through your groin, but also just through your femur and your hip capsule. So go out wide, split, split, squat, split, split, squat. Keep going for 20 seconds as hard and fast as you can, maintaining form as a priority. Have your 10 seconds rest, and then we're going to push into, the next one will be push gorillas. So you get in the push-up position, do a push-up, and you bring up your feet like a gorilla, kicking back and forth for 20 seconds. Elbows rearward, looking after your shoulders, bringing your feet all the way as far as you can. The better hip mobility that you have, the further you can get your feet. Make sure you push them back, look after your back, come down. Now if you need to use your knees, no problem, as long as you're looking after your back. Stand up, 10 seconds rest, and then you repeat the exercise A and B combo 4 times. Once you do that, you can have a minute rest, get some water or whatever you need to, and then we'll move on to the next 2 exercises. So the next cycle will be focusing on the next 2 exercises. Exercise A, kick sits. Exercise B will be frog squats. So the way this is going to work with the kick sits, we're testing your thoracic rotation, so mobility through your spine, and also connecting with your hip mobility, right? How you can rotate through your lower back and open up through your hips, internal and external rotation in the hips. So this is a great, fantastic tool to lift up the heart rate, really challenge your fitness on a low impact sort of environment. So it doesn't require you to do jumps or sprints or any high impact into the body. So one of my favorite exercises as it is increasing fitness and challenging mobility. So let me take you to the ground first and I'll show you how it works. You get into a 4-point position, knees underneath hips. You want to make sure your knees aren't out here, right? Otherwise you set yourself up to fail. So knees underneath hips, then you activate, you sort of get active through the shoulders and lift up those knees. You're gonna lift up the opposite limb and kick it to the side. Now you can see here, I need a good mobility, thoracic rotation to be able to keep my hands down, and I need to be able to open up, externally rotate through my hip to achieve knee up to sky. Once I've got this position, I can slide my leg back in, get to the starting position, push to the other side. You're going back and forth, keeping your hands down. Don't lift your hands up, because if you lift your hands up, you're breaking that tension throughout the entire body. And what we're trying to achieve here is the Chinese burn. We're trying to strangle your diaphragm. So it forces you to exhale, and it makes it really hard to keep your breath. So it challenges you constantly through the entire movement. So 20 seconds going as hard as you can is a challenge. That's what keeps the intensity. Having 10 seconds rest, we'll move on to frog squat. So looking at lower body again, coming down into a squat position, elbows inside knees, a little bit high. So not on top, not too low. And you're going to go as low as you can, pushing those knees out with your elbows, going as high as you can. I'm loading up my hamstrings, my feet planted in the floor, they're not rotating in. Going as high as I can, back down. And you go up and down, working with your range. Finish your 20 seconds, shake the legs, shake the arms, get ready to go again for your 20 seconds worth of kick sits. Repeat that obviously 4 times, exercise A and B. We move on to the third cycle. For cycle 3, exercise A is straddles, exercise B is pulse lunges, so it's pulse stationary lunges. So with the straddles, we're going to be on the ground again. We're focusing on keeping nice and tight through the trunk, not letting the hips go down or up, kicking your feet all the way out, and then I want you to straddle your position by bringing your feet either side of your hand. So the weight is in my hand and also my feet, and also my hand. Come back into the push-up position and switch sides. So you're staying nice and strong, putting all the weight into your shoulders, stay light on your feet, going back and forth. You don't want to stay high, you don't want to remove the weight from your shoulders, you need to stay over the top of your shoulders the entire time. Challenging your core, challenging hip mobility again. Lift up the heart rate with very low impact. So that's exercise A. Exercise B is the stationary pulse lunges. So you get your right foot in front for the entire 20 seconds. Make sure you have good base support. So if you need to bring your feet out a little bit wider down here, instead of in line like this, with less stability, you bring your back foot a little bit wider. Make sure your heel is facing the sky, and you come down as low as you can, and come up until the front leg locks out. Low, up, down, up. Going for 20 seconds. Obviously, have your 10-second rest, back to straddles, do your 10 seconds rest, and back to those lunges, but switch the other foot forward. The last cycle was a bit of a doozy. It was 2 exercises, both A and B, focusing on upper body, just different stresses on the upper body. So the first exercise A was Hindus, where we're achieving a push-up position, but we're working the stress through a fluid motion rather than just straight or up. And then we had exercise B, which was a polar bear press or a rock press, where it's focusing more on the overhead press and overhead stability. So I'll show you the first exercise A for 20 seconds. What's the Hindu? Half Hindu. Coming into A-frame position, so your heels are on the ground. You push your bum as wide as you can. If you're struggling to get your heels on the ground, just get your feet wider apart. But you need to make sure that you're not in a position where you can lift up your hands and still remain standing. Okay, you need to put the weight loaded into the shoulders. Look between your legs, and you're going to come down and push as high as you can. So half Hindu, you're going to reset by getting into that starting position. Come down like you're going underneath a fence. Push all the way to the top, lock out the elbows. Remember, don't sag in the neck. You need to be able to push out of that position, push back. So you go for 20 seconds. Come up, 10 seconds rest, shake up the arms, run around to the other side of the room, high five everyone in between, get back down to the ground in that 10-second break, get to the floor. We're gonna go rock press. I'll take my hat off for this one. Rock press, A-frame position, feet wide apart, looking between your legs, so let your neck rest, making sure your feet are flat. As I rock forward onto my toes, I'm breaking at the elbow. Elbows are going 45 degrees rearward. And my objective is to get the crown of my head, the top of my head, in between my hands. So I'm going down, back up, down, we're locking out. If this is too difficult, you just go down as far as you can, Alright, you don't want to be shaking and stressing too much through the neck and shoulders, or you can even make it a little bit harder by bringing the hands closer together. So get back up after your 20-second effort, 10 seconds rest, run to the other side of the room, high five everyone left and right, bum slaps all around, then get started into back to the first exercise. So repeat that for the 4 rounds. That is your 4 entire cycles of our Tabata session that we did in Bali for Active Escapes. Let me know how you go. If you have any questions, please comment below and enjoy it.